The small city of Abbottabad, nestled in the hills of Pakistan, was known for its serene landscape, cool weather, and scenic beauty. It was a peaceful town that, for many years, had been the picture of tranquility. However, a dark shadow haunted its quiet streets, one that many locals refused to talk about, but all of them knew was real. It was the early 2000s when the rumors began. People whispered of a house deep in the outskirts of Abbottabad, a large, decaying mansion that seemed untouched by time. The once grand structure had been abandoned for years, its windows boarded up, its gates rusted. Some said it had been the home of a wealthy family, others claimed it was a place of great tragedy. But whatever the truth was, one thing was certain: the house was cursed. Locals spoke of strange noises that echoed through the property at night, screams, whispers, and the sound of chains dragging across the floors. Some even claimed to have seen figures in the windows, pale, shadowy shapes that seemed to move and disappear in the blink of an eye. At first, people dismissed these stories as nothing more than superstition, but over time, the tales became too frequent to ignore. One of the most chilling incidents occurred in the late hours of a cold winter's night. A group of young friends, daring each other to explore the haunted mansion, decided to spend the night there. They were eager to prove that the stories were nothing more than a legend, something to scare children. Armed with nothing but flashlights and their bravado, they entered the mansion, laughing and joking, unaware of the terror that awaited them. As they explored the decaying rooms, a sense of dread settled over them. The once opulent walls were now cracked and covered in mold, the air thick with the scent of decay. But it was when they reached the basement that things took a horrifying turn. The temperature in the room suddenly dropped, and a heavy silence fell over them. The sound of faint, almost inaudible whispers began to fill the air, growing louder with each passing moment. Terrified, they turned to leave, but the stairs leading up to the main floor were now blocked by a thick, unexplainable fog. One of the group members, a young man named Asif, began to panic. He was convinced that they were not alone, that something in the house was watching them. He ran toward the door, but before he could reach it, he collapsed to the ground, writhing in pain. His friends rushed to his side, only to witness the unexplainable. Asif's body contorted violently, his eyes wide with terror as he muttered incoherently. He spoke of voices calling to him, of being pulled into the very walls of the house. When they finally managed to drag him outside, he was incoherent and trembling, his face ashen. It was only when the group sought help from local elders that the true horror of the house came to light. According to the elders, the mansion had once belonged to a man who had practiced dark arts. He had reportedly made a pact with sinister forces, hoping to gain wealth and power, but in doing so, he condemned his family and himself to an eternity of torment. The house had become a vessel for these spirits, trapped souls who would never be at peace. From that night on, Asif was never the same. He spoke less, his eyes always darting nervously as if he could hear the voices that had plagued him in the house. His friends, too, had disturbing dreams of shadowy figures and unseen forces watching them. One by one, they fell ill, and some even moved away from Abbottabad, too terrified to stay. The mansion, now an even greater source of fear, stood as a silent reminder of the horrors that lay within its walls. To this day, locals avoid the area, speaking in hushed tones about the curse that haunts the mansion. Though the house itself has long since crumbled, the stories persist, passed down through generations, warning of the dark forces that dwell in the shadows of Abbottabad. Those who dare to speak of the mansion or visit the area at night often report hearing strange noises, whispers, footsteps, and the unmistakable sound of chains dragging on the cold, hard floor. Some claim they've even seen the figures of those who once lived there, wandering the ruined halls, forever trapped in a cycle of horror. The mansion of Abbottabad remains a place of mystery, a terrifying testament to a dark past that refuses to be forgotten. And for those who still live in the town, the chilling whispers of the house will forever echo in their memories, a reminder that some horrors are not bound by time, they linger, waiting to claim the souls of the unwary. To this day, no one truly knows what happened in that house. Some say it was the work of a dark sorcerer, others believe the souls of those lost to tragedy still wander, seeking vengeance. But one thing is clear: the mansion of Abbottabad is more than just a haunted house, it's a dark, lingering part of Pakistan's terrifying history, where the boundary between the living and the dead is forever blurred. If you want to learn more about history's pivotal moments, subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content on the events that shaped the world we live in today.